So everyone has the sheet. Name goes on it. This sheet is your RK storyboard. This is going to be due to Mr. Fecto on Friday. Okay, I'm not checking these off. Everyone has to turn this in to Mr. Fecto when you have science this Friday. Now, I'm referencing, and we're starting to look at our final countdown. The first item on this checklist till the very end of your FRP is today. Okay, which is, with me, we're going over what the heck is the storyboard, how do we create it, what should be on it. After that, the 24th, that's Friday. Friday is the day that this piece of paper is due. So you want to make sure you have it done because in class on Friday, you're going to start creating your actual presentation. This is just the pre-planning stages. Before you write your English paper, you should make an outline, right? You should have a background paper. Before the huge essay. This is the same idea. Before a presentation, we should start outlining our ideas. Okay? How many slides are in this storyboard right now? 12. But how many are we supposed to have in our presentation? 10. Why is there 12? Yes. Okay, so can someone read that top paragraph for me at the top of the sheet?
To begin developing your presentation for the freshman research project, you should create a storyboard. This will ensure that your presentation has logical order and information is organized. Fill out 12 slides below with images, ideas, and information. The first should be a title slide. The last should be a works cited.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. So, first slide right now. What is the title of your presentation going to be? Okay? So write that down. You're going to write by your name. You're going to write it right in this box. Okay? So, just as you're writing that, just a refresher, what's going to happen is someone's going to present before you. And you're going to say, oh, it's my turn. Do I go up now? Do I not go up now? I'm going to be in the front row, and I'm going to have my laptop, and I'm going to put up your title slide, which will be untimed. That means it will be up as long as it needs to be. And you're going to walk up the stage, stand behind the podium. You're going to make eye contact with me, give me a little head nod, and I'm going to press spacebar. When I press spacebar, all of your other 10 slides are going to go right through, timed. Do you remember how much each slide's going to be timed for? John?
20 seconds.
20 seconds. Whether you're ready for them to move or not, they're going to. Okay? So each slide's going to be 20 seconds. So the first one is on time. So you can get up there, take a breath, give me a little head nod. Okay? Then it's going to go all the way through. Now let's say you go over a little bit. Okay? Instead of the screen going black, it's going to hit your works cited page. And that is another untimed slide. That way, if you have 30 extra seconds of stuff you need to say, it's going to go into that. Okay? And it's not going to be like a totally awkward moment where the screen goes black and you're still talking and you're like, thank you, bye. Okay? We want to avoid that moment. So instead, it will be works cited page, finish up your thought, take a breath, say thank you, get off the stage. Okay? So I want you to go to the last slide here. And you're going to put works cited at the top of your box, on the lines, doesn't matter. What do we use? What have you used to learn in English to create a works cited? What have you been using? Yeah, EasyBib. Okay? So if you want to use EasyBib, that's fine. The works cited here is only to cite the images you are using. Okay? Can all 10 images be from the internet? Okay, 5 could be from the internet, but 5 definitely have to be your own pictures. So today we're going to start thinking about which ones make sense to be original, which ones might you use from the internet. If you do all original images, how does that help you? Yeah, there's a standard that can earn you a 4, okay? And this rubric y'all have. I have extra copies. I know everyone else has extra copies as far as your teachers are concerned, and it's up online. This is what you're going to get graded on your presentation. 3 English standards, the content, the format of your RK, which is what we're going to talk about today, and then the language, which is how you're doing when you present. Okay, volume, pace, filler words, note cards that you're going to make, the usage of those, how well did you do, okay? Today we're going to focus on format. So again, to earn a 4 on that format, you need to have awesome original pictures, all of them. To get a 3, you have to have at least 5. And they have to be, when you use your own images, you have to cite those a specific way. And Mrs. Chadbourne should talk to you about that, or Mr. Fecto. Okay, that's not what I'm here to talk to you about today. But citing them appropriately, you need to make sure if they're not yours, they definitely need to be cited appropriately. Do what Josh did, or said. use EasyBit. Okay? You already know how to use it. Make sure you fill in as much as possible. Don't just do whatever it says there. Go back to the web page, see if you can figure out the title of the image, put that in. Figure out who it's been published by, put that in if it doesn't have it in there already. Okay? Go back and look at those sites. You only have to do 5 or less. The more original images you do, the less you have to use EasyBit. Okay? So that leaves us with the other 10 images that you need. The other 10 things for your presentation. This presentation should not stress you out because you're going to talk about 10 things or less that you already know. You are doing no extra research for this. You've done all of your research. Think of your paper. Think of your outline. Think of your introduction for your paper. All of those things are going to be your presentation. You do not have to do extra work, extra research for this. You should already have it done. So I'm going to give you an example, okay, of kind of how I would start mine, the first 3 or 4 slides of mine. I want to discuss it with you so you can have an idea, okay, how to fill this out. So these are going to be the images. You should have a sketch or write with the ideas for your image here, whether it's original or not, and then just notes on what you're going to talk about. So I would do my projects on Mewds disease, M-E-W-D-S, disease, okay? So my title slide, which I'm not going to put up here, but you guys have it written down, would say Mewds disease effects on humans by Megan White, okay? Then my first slide, I'm going to use an original image, and it's going to be a picture of a road. It's going to be at night. It's going to be in the woods, and it's going to be snowing, okay? So imagine that's going to be the first one that I show, okay? I'm going to tell you my intro right now. I'm going to pretend that I'm presenting to you, okay? So I'm up there, climb up, center my sheet for a second, make eye contact with the teacher who's holding the laptop, and then they press spacebar, and then I begin, okay? Each slide is how long again?
20 seconds.
20 seconds, okay, ready? It's going to go a little faster because I'm not going to count super slow seconds because I've talked fast already, okay? Imagine one evening you're driving home from work. It's snowing, it's dark, and the roads are bad. When suddenly the snow gets brighter, things close in, and all you can see is white. Boom. 20 seconds. Road, snowing, hooked you, right? You're like, what the heck is she even talking about? Okay? So that's my intro. Under here, I would put my notes for this. I'm going to put intro. I'm going to put drive home, goes white, okay? Because that's what I'm going to talk about in that 20 seconds. Then my next image, because I'm planning this right now, you don't know anything about my topic. Still, you know it's called Mewds disease. You know it has something to do with things going white. Maybe driving, maybe not driving, who knows. My next one is going to be original image of some eyeball. Close up, okay? Again, that would be the image you see. I'm thinking of 20 seconds worth of text to start tying to that, okay? So imagine I just said, okay, and then everything goes white. This happened to my father my senior year of high school. On his way home from work, he went blind in 25 minutes. He has Mewds disease, multiple effervescent white dot syndrome, which has left him blind for the rest of his life. Boom, hooked again, right? Now, I tied it to the fact that he's blind. There's an eye. Did I show people with sunglasses on going like this? No. Okay. Here, did I start out with a picture of what the disease is or a diagram? No. Okay. Just like you don't start out a long, boring paper with something long and boring. You try to start it out sounding a little more interesting. So then my next slide I talked about now here. So my notes underneath this one would be, I'd probably say Mewds. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Mewds intro. Because I'm saying that he has it. Okay. 20 seconds. Do you see how quick that goes? It goes pretty quick. All right. You're going to develop note cards later. That might say everything you want to say on it. But right now, this is just outlining what I think I want to say. So I want to talk about what happened and kind of hook the person to think, whoa, what is that? What happened to that person? Then I want to talk about how they go blind and what the name of the disease is that I'm talking about. Okay? Then my next one, maybe I want to give more background information about mutes. Now I know my project has to be about how this disease affects humans, not the other way around, right? How this disease affects a human. So before I get to that, maybe I decide I want to give you some background knowledge about what mutes is. I said the name, no one really knows what that means. So maybe the next picture I do is I find a really good diagram online of an eye, okay? And I decide that I'm going to use that in my presentation and I put it here and it goes into my works cited. Or I look at that diagram and I say I like some of it. I might not be the best artist, but I'm going to give it a go at creating my own. I'm not going to take a screenshot of something and put it in and then just change a label and call it my own. I'm going to from scratch draw it or from scratch create it online. So the eye kind of looks like this shape, even though you don't know it. It has the little pupil and iris here. There's a bunch of stuff on the back. There's a lens in the back also. I might label some stuff my own, okay? And then I might talk about how this disease, what it does to the actual eye, and the parts of the eye. And then on my next slide, maybe I show an actual photograph of what the little dots look like that are formed on the back of the retina, okay? Because that's what ends up happening. In this disease, the person, for no apparent reason, there's nothing that causes it, it's a natural thing, they don't even know if it's hereditary or not at this point, okay? They get these little effervescent, which means they're that kind of shiny, milky, okay, dots that grow on the back of the retina, which prevent the person from seeing clearly, and it can affect how they see color, okay? So you know when it's really, really like dark inside, and then you go out into the snow and you're like, holy moly, okay? And it's really, really bright and you can't see for a second. That's what my dad sees all the time. So that's, again, stuff I can be tying in if I want to describe it and how that has changed his life and how he does things differently, okay? But again, I'm thinking, how can I create original images? How can I kind of tell a story? Include research that I found, statistics that I found, and a box and whisker plot that I've created, okay? So maybe I talk about how the eye is, I show a picture of what the little dots look like. I'm already 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm almost half done my presentation right now. Maybe my next one then is my box and whisker plot. I talk about how many people since 1980 have been diagnosed with it. Is it a popular disease? Do a lot of people have it? Or is it not a popular disease? Do very few people have it? Using my percent statements, maybe talking about medians. Take the sentence from the paragraph you already wrote, folks. Take the statistics. Take everything from the stuff you've already written for your paper. This is nothing new. Okay, nothing new. Except you don't have to word it in third person formal. Did I do that? No. I said me, my father. Things like that. That is fine. This presentation should be formal. It should not have filler words. It should not use slang. But it does not have to be third person formal. Okay? So right now, what I want everyone to do, and I've kind of given you an intro, I tie it into my graph, and then the last few slides, I want to make like a connection to how it affects humans. Now, clearly, this whole thing affects humans, right? I'm talking about a human in my first slide. But I want to make it very apparent. Maybe the slide, that's the last one before my works cited, I restate some stuff so that I'm sure that I meet this fourth standard. I am positive that I am talking about how this impacts humans and not the other way around. Okay? It has changed a lot for my dad. He can't drive a car. He wears 3 layers of sunglasses every second of every day. There's surgery that may help people, that may not help people. Maybe that's something I would look into researching and talking about how this surgery was developed, how science has been deepened because of this disease, that they're learning more about how to do laser surgery. And I do 2 slides on laser surgery. Who knows? Okay? There's lots of possibilities, but pick the best stuff. Pick the stuff you know most about. I'm not going to talk about stuff that I don't know about here. If there's a word I can't pronounce, I'm not going to use it on every slide. Okay? That would be a bad choice. Play to your strengths. Play to what you already know. Okay? Let's take 5 minutes. And I want you to think, what could you do for your intro and hook? And you don't have to sketch it. You could write what it is. I could have written snowy road at night with whatever. Okay? But I want you to think, what is your image? What would you say? Not verbatim, but what could you say? And then maybe start on the second one too. Okay? I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to work, and then we're going to share out some ideas. All right, what are some ideas for some intros? What do we think? Take a risk. It's all right. Sam, what are your thoughts?
Do you want me to say them?
Yep, so what's your topic, Sam?
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes, okay.
What if today was your last day on Earth, or a family member's last day? You were at school or at work, and all of a sudden a hurricane hits you like no other.
Perfect. What would you use for an image for that?
A hurricane in the background.
Hurricane in the background, okay. Now, if she doesn't have a picture of a hurricane, and she decides she's going to try to do an original image, if she's focusing on at work, or she could just change that at work to at school, she could put a picture of the school in the background. Imagine you're at school, and then the alarm goes off, and there's a hurricane coming. Boom, original image done. See how the school sets the setting for what she's saying. That could work. Great. You don't have to have your idea written out as much as Sam does right now. On this sheet, you can just have little general ideas. Describe scary everyday situation where a hurricane hits. Okay? That's all you need to write for this. You don't have to have that. That's going to be more like what's going to go on your note cards. If you do that, awesome. Less work later, right? Someone else. What do we have an idea for a hook or an intro? Jevin.
My topic is ozone depletion.
Ozone depletion. Naturally occurring ozone depletion. Okay.
Imagine a world without protection.
So a world without protection. And maybe he talks something about...
Military-wise.
Oh, interesting. So talking about military-wise and what you would do. So what would you use for an image for
I
that?
didn't have anything. I thought maybe a flag.
You could do a flag. Good. Okay. Again, ties in. Make sure it ties into it. If you're talking about swimming, you can show people swimming. If you're talking about salmon spawning in fresh water, take a picture of a brook in your backyard or a brook somewhere. Okay. If you're talking about something happening in the ocean, pull up a picture you've taken of the ocean in the past. All right. Yeah, Zach. Let's hear your idea.
My topic was volcano deaths,
Volcanoes.
and I was going to say how many people have died from volcanoes since 1980.
Good. So total amount of deaths since 1980. It's going to be a big number. People are going to go, what? Okay. Again, focused on how many people have died from volcanoes. So after you have something interesting like that, I would encourage you either go into how it affects humans next or go into background information. If it's something people don't know a lot about, do a couple slides on background information. Okay? You can do that. Not every slide has to connect to humans. If it's about hurricanes, talk about where hurricanes are most prevalent, maybe. Locations. The next two, talk about how hurricanes are formed. Then go into your box and whisker plot if you want to. But don't throw your box and whisker plot somewhere where it doesn't make sense. Okay? Don't put it as your second slide. Put it after you've talked a little bit about whatever is in your graph. So, for example, Zach's deaths. If he starts out with death tolls like that, he might go into his graph next because that's what his graph is about. Okay? But maybe he decides, I'm going to talk about death tolls, and I'm going to talk about the ways people have died from volcanoes. And then his graph. Or maybe death tolls, background, how do volcanoes work? How people die. Then graph, then last slide, the slide before that works cited, sum it all up. How does it connect back to affecting humans? Okay? It's that last slide is your concluding paragraph. Your first and last slides are easy. They're easy ones. Something interesting in the beginning, sum it up at the end. And then all you have is 8 in the middle to share pieces and parts, the most interesting things that you found in your research. We have about 1 minute left of class. So we're just about done. When is this sheet due?
Friday.
Who's it due to?
Fecto.
Fecto. You do not have to have it written out word for word. It can just be little notes and little sketches. Remember, how many original images? 5 minimum. Okay? You don't need to have them all right now, but on Friday you're going to be given class time in his room to start making this. You need to have Keynote. You cannot do it on Google Slides. If you do not have Keynote on your laptop, before Friday, ask Mr. Fegan to help you install it, okay? Seriously, before Friday, because you cannot do it on Google Slides. Good? Thank you, folks. Have a good day.